The Dutch States Party is the name used in Anglophone historiography for the faction in the politics of the Dutch Republic referred to in Dutch historiography as the Staatsgezinde. This Republican faction is usually defined as the opponents of the Orangist, or Prinsgezinde faction, who supported the monarchical aspirations of the stadtholders, who were usually members of the House of Orange-Nassau. The two factions existed during the entire history of the Republic since the 12 Years' Truce, be it that the role of usual opposition party of the States Party was taken over by the Patriots after the Orangist Revolution of 1747. The States Party was in the ascendancy during the first Stadtholderless period and the second Stadtholderless period. Ideological characteristics. The two factions were not political parties in the modern sense of the word. They were mostly kept together by animosity between families belonging to the regent and class on the local level. For reasons that differed between localities, these local factions might take sides to either faction simply based on the fact that their opponents were loyal to the other faction. There was little explicit ideological coherence, and whatever ideology existed on either side differed with changing circumstances over the course of the history of the Republic. Still, since the days of the conflict between Maurice, Prince of Orange and Landsadvocate of Holland Johan van Oldenbarnevelt, the States Party stood for provincial sovereignty, vested in the provincial states, whereas the Orangist Party emphasized the supra-provincial sovereignty residing in the States General of the Netherlands. The supremacy of the provincial states was first defended by François Ranc in his debate with Thomas Wilkes in 1587 during the rule of the Earl of Leicester as Governor-General under the English Protectorate, and later taken up by Hugo Grotius in his De Antiquitate Republici Batavici. The theme was taken up again during the conflict between Stadtholder William II and the States of Holland in 1650, in which first the prince prevailed, and after his death the states, ushering in the true freedom of the first Stadtholderless period. The doctrine of the true freedom was expounded by political philosophers like the Grand Pensionary Johan de Witt in his Deduction, and Peter de Lacourt in his The Interest van Holland and de Stadouderlijke Regering in Holland en de West-Friesland. In these works the doctrine was extended into a distinctly anti-monarchical and pro-republican direction as a justification for the de facto abolition of the office of stadtholder in most provinces as superfluous and positively harmful to the general welfare. Representatives. Some of the most important representatives of the States Party in the history of the Republic were Loevesteiners Johan van Oldenbarnevelt, Hugo Grotius, Giles van Ledenburg, First Stadtholderless period Johan de Witt, Cornelis de Witt, Jacob Dutch de Graaf, Cornelis de Graaf, Andries de Graaf, Andries Bicker and his brother Cornelis. Second Stadtholderless period Antony Heinsius, Isaac van Hoornbeek, Simon van Slingerland, Antony van der Heim, Willem Buys, Jacob Giles,